Hi, this is Julie Lawrence, Academic Dean at the Mokena and Aurora campuses of Rasmussen. I'd like to take a few minutes to review with you how to pull Campus View reports that will help you in knowing more about your students. I'm going to go over how to pull course rosters as well as the master student listing, which will help you identify any new starts, grads, or current students in your program. The first one that we're going to look at is course rosters. I'm going to spend some time reviewing with you how to get to the correct spots within Campus View so you can pull rosters and better know who's in what classes within your program. As you will see, I am right now in Campus View. In order to get to course rosters, I'm going to go to Reports and scroll down to Academic Records. From here, I'm going to go over and find class roster. There are two options here. You can go with class roster by course or class roster by instructor. Really, it becomes whatever is a preference for you, as you will be able to sort your information later. I generally use class roster by instructor just because that's the one I've become most familiar with. Once I select that, a box comes up that asks me to select which campuses. This might be important for some of you that work across multiple campuses. So I'm going to go ahead, since you know that I work with both Mokena and Aurora, I'm going to go ahead and pick both so that I have them there. You can have just one program there or one campus if that's easier. From there, I'm going to go over to the next option, which is selection. I'm going to pick what term I'm looking at. And instead of descriptions, because this gets a little bit busy, I usually go over to codes and I enter in, I'm going to look at summer, so 1703. If I type that in and hit enter, it scrolls down and finds the 1703 for me. One thing to keep in mind now is because we have a term 1 and a term 2, make sure that you've checked all three of those boxes. You do not need the one with the P, so just ignore that one and ignore the PM one. It's the 1703, 1703 T1, and 1703 T2. If you're looking for a specific course, you may choose to click that as your next category. Once you have selected a course, you can go ahead and pick a course, or you can pick a course code, depending if you want to use your class number or your course description. You can also pick a program version. So if you're looking for only students in medical assisting, you may scroll down and select medical assisting in the program version, medical assisting diploma. One trick here, you will see there are several medical assisting diplomas. I always just check them all because I never know which ones it's looking specifically at. The other item here is instructor. If there is a specific instructor you are looking for to see if your students are in their class, you can sort by instructor. I am not going to do that right now though. The next step I would take is to click on preview. It does indicate that it's outside of a 2-year period, but that is fine. And then I click OK. It does take a couple moments for your class rosters to populate, but once they do, it will show up like this. You can see on the left-hand side different instructors, so you can check different classes. So if LaDalia wanted to know right now how many students are in her Procedures 2 class for the summer quarter, I can easily click on her name and see that there are 13 students. Same with any other instructor that I have. So this kind of gives you an idea of what your courses will look like. This is a great way to generally look at your classes. If you want to get more specific, you can also download or export it to Excel. When the Excel document opens up, it looks like there's a lot of things in here that you probably don't need. So you can kind of figure out which sections to delete to make it more user-friendly for you. There are certain parts that you may not need to know, and certain section codes you'll see that you can tell those are online. So anything that has, I usually go in and filter, anything with the ONLA stands for online. So I usually take those out if I'm really looking at a campus class and want to know some specifics that way. So this breaks it down for me, and again, I can choose to get rid of some information that I don't deem necessarily important for what I'm trying to look at. You can hide it, you can scroll it over, You can see here there are 11 students enrolled in Socorro's class, for example, out of 20 possible. Down here in Peter's class, there are 8. You can scroll over, you can see who the students are that are currently enrolled in those classes. And then there are some additional demographic type information available at the far end of this report. But again, some of that stuff that you don't necessarily need. But this really breaks it down for you. And that is a quick, easy to use overview of how to pull course rosters.